How are we doing today? Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, and this is your daily financial news for Thursday, November 12th. Now, normally we do these at 7:30. Usually, well, 6 days a week we do them at 7:30, but on Thursdays we need to do them at 7 a.m. Pacific because we are lucky enough to get an hour with Jonathan Twomley from 7:30 to 8:30 Pacific. So I get up early, read the news, and still give you your daily financial news. And again, we do this live, no editing, none of that stuff. We just go through a long list of notes. And if that interests you in understanding what's going on in the markets, with interest rates, with consumers, all of those good things, do me a favor, hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, shows me my efforts are worthwhile. And yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. So what do I got for you today? Lots of stuff. First and foremost, it looks like if Mr. Joe Biden becomes our next president, again, I say if, I realize they're still counting in legal battles and all of that. I'm not going to jump in front of that. I'm just going to say if he is inaugurated in late January, I think it is becoming clear his scientists could very easily recommend another 4 to 6 week lockdown. An article with one of the guys on his COVID task force is already in the news talking about how a 4 to 6 week lockdown would be beneficial to you, I, and the American economy. What I see this as is a lot like our Federal Reserve, where they kind of tease stuff in the media that kind of softens us up. So where you and I might be hoping for localized lockdowns if things got bad, I think there's a good chance that the next administration will lean on science and lean away from the economic impact. So that will be interesting to see. I can only imagine. Remember what happened in our first lockdown of Q2? We had a record collapse in the economy. I don't know why that would not repeat itself. So let's see what happens there. In addition to that, we have some Q4 IPOs in the works. Again, I read a bunch of information for you. So it looks like Airbnb is going to go potentially in November, probably before Thanksgiving. We have DoorDash also looking to go probably early December. And then Wish is another tech company that's looking to go probably early December before Christmas. IPOs this year are on a record pace. Capital is free flowing, so it makes sense. Lots of these tech companies want to cash out. Specifically, Airbnb, DoorDash, and Wish come to mind. Don't know if you saw it, but Rocket Mortgage, aka Quicken Loans, used to be Quicken until it was rebranded Rocket Mortgage, had a record Q3. Their profit was up 506%. They originated $89 billion in mortgages. Now, Rocket Mortgage kind of does the whole mortgage thing differently than a historical company in which everything is online, streamlined, artificial intelligence, all of that. I do find it's interesting. To me, it kind of starting to feel like Countrywide and IndyMac and those people from 2005, 6, and 7, where they got ahead of themselves. They also, at one point, exceeded Wells Fargo in traditional banks with mortgage volume, and Rocket Mortgage just did that. Wells Fargo was the largest mortgage originator. Now it's Rocket Mortgage. Now, that point alone is not a red flag, but it's one of those things I watch because when non-banks become these origination machines, they have to keep the machine fed, and the only way you do that, go back and look at Countrywide, IndyMac, all these institutions that no longer exist. They lowered credit quality. Right now, credit quality is pretty high, real down payments, so not very concerned today. But when I look at Rocket Mortgage, I kind of see the future and I go, wow, they're adding overhead, they're adding people. They have to keep that machine going because they originate and then sell, originate, then sell. We could have a growing problem in a year, 2 or 3, depending on how low they bring the credit quality down. So something to watch. In addition to that, they've had so much profit lately. They've been pushed for a special dividend. Instead of doing that, they went the other route and they approved buying back $1 billion in common stock. So they could potentially significantly reduce their float in the public markets. Don't know if you saw this, but what would you think of a work from home tax? Seriously, work from home tax. Deutsche Bank has come out and proposed, put out the idea that, hey, the employees that want to work from home should pay 5% tax, to make sure everybody else is taken care of. A 5% tax to work from home. So would you work from home? Yes, no. It's interesting where this comes from. I don't see this going anywhere. Maybe it stays in Europe. But again, it is pretty clear that taxes are going to go up to pay for this crisis. And who knows, there could be a brand new tax created that you and I are not thinking about, because I would have never thought about a work from home tax. That is crazy. But we will see what happens. Finally got some numbers on energy demand. Oil, right? Oil, I think, is just up over $40. Very weak, had a horrible year. But it is interesting to realize that this crisis is 7 times worse than the Great Recession. I didn't realize it was that bad. 7x worse. Now, a lot of that's because of travel, airplanes, and commuting and all of that. So it makes sense. But yeah, the 2020 crisis is 7x worse than the Great Recession on oil companies. Now, when I look at that, go, I wonder if there's an opportunity to invest, because we will come back. And I suspect when we come back, it is going to be quick and fast. So it's going to be fun to watch once we get that escape velocity. But as I've said many times, we got some pain to go through. Don't know if you saw this, but kind of 2 things about New York. First, New York on the negative is reinstituting curfews for restaurants, bars, and gyms. And get this, I can't believe this. They are setting a limit on how many people can gather at private residences at 10. That's not okay. Private residences. Now, if you want to do that in the public domain, all of that, but if you want to come in my house and say how many people I can have in my house, I have a problem with that. That is not okay. People are there of their own free will. It is my own free will. I am not okay with some government thug telling me what I can do and can't do in my own house. Not okay. Just not okay. What is he thinking? That's not okay. Other thing about New York on the good side is looks like New York might be turning a corner. I did a video a couple days ago about New York, San Francisco, and Vegas, and I proposed that New York would come back first. It was interesting. I got lots of takes. I got some people that agreed and some people that didn't, but it looks like New York already may be turning the corner. What they're saying is just between November 1st and November 10th, so 10 days, sales contracts are up 21%, just in that little window. Average rents are down 19%, but new lease activity is up 33%. So again, I do think New York comes back. New York City comes back first. The real reason, and again, I'm going to try to talk to Jonathan about this today, is I don't think the financial institutions, which are the heartbeat of New York City, have really taken on this work from home, work from anywhere, where tech, which is the driver of San Francisco, has basically said, get the hell out of here. Don't come back. We're done, which I think is very different. And that's why I think San Francisco is going to be a distant third to recover. And I think New York is first. So it'll be interesting. In addition, in New York, they're giving away 2 months free rent. 2 months free rent. That's crazy. A couple other things of note. Alibaba, they did their Singles Day. Think Black Friday if you're in the U.S. Singles Day, 11/11/11/11. They did $75 billion. That's amazing. That's a record. The Chinese economy is doing much better than the U.S., I think is fair to say. In addition to that, Wells Fargo, again, is looking to get smaller, it looks like. I've talked about them a couple of times. They're looking to sell off different units. This time, it's their private label credit card business looking to be sold. And then finally, because it is Thursday, we got to talk about new unemployment claims. New unemployment claims is down again. The American economy is a wonderful thing once it gets released from intervention. Down to 709, still above our 1982 peak. So let's not get too excited of 685 peak pre-crisis, but down from 757. So a drop of what would that be? 48,000? Yeah, I think. Yeah, 48,000. More importantly, continuing claims was down to 6.79 million. That's a drop of 436. Again, call it half a million, improving. But there is that third thing that you and I need to watch now. So we have new claims, continuing claims, but we also have the folks that are entering the extended emergency, which means they've exhausted 26 weeks. Not good. That jumped over 230,000. So again, lots of people. I have to imagine that's hotel, restaurants, entertainment, things of that nature. But still, 26 weeks and then being kicked to 13 more weeks, that can't feel good. So that's what I got for you today. Again, one rental at a time. We do a live stream about the daily financial news 7 days a week, 6 days a week at 7:30, and then on Thursdays, which is today, at 7, because we get to talk with Jonathan Twombly at 7:30, and I don't want to miss that. In the end, subscribe, thumbs up. If you do subscribe, be warned, I create 3 or 4 original content pieces a day, so don't be annoyed with me. All right, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.